you, Prashant, for including me in this IC. So I'll be discussing about the surgical management of childhood glaucoma. As we know, managing childhood glaucoma is challenging, and the definitive treatment of primary congenital glaucoma is surgical management, and medical management acts only as a bridge till the child is not ready for surgery. Now, various modifications to the traditional angle and non-angle based surgical procedures have been introduced in the last 3 decades. And as life expectancy is longer in the pediatric population, the longevity of the treatment choice is crucial. So the decision to proceed with angle surgery is often made during an examination under anesthesia. And if both the eyes have uncontrolled glaucoma, then we prefer to do bilateral surgery so as to avoid or reduce the anesthetic risk. Now, let us see what are the surgical options. The conventional surgical options are number 1, procedures that enhance the innate aqueous outflow pathway, that's the angle surgery. This includes goniotomy and trabeculotomy, or procedures that create an external aqueous outflow like trabeculectomy and glaucoma drainage implant. We also have combined trabeculotomy with trabeculectomy, which is a preferred surgical option with the type of glaucomas that we see in India and the Indian subcontinent. And for refractory glaucomas, we have the cyclophotocoagulation procedures. Now, over the last few years, each of these procedures have seen various surgical modifications. Like for goniotomy, there is now 2-side goniotomy, viscogoniotomy, a specialized blade like Cahuck blade, and endoscopic goniostomy. For trabeculotomy, we have external trabeculotomy using suture or 360-degree trabeculotomy using illuminated microcatheter. We also have gonioscopic assisted trabeculotomy. Then for trabeculectomy, there are mitomycin C enhancement. And for glaucoma drainage implants, that will be discussed by Prashant subsequently. And cyclophotocoagulation, in addition to the conventional transscleral, we now have endoscopic cyclophotocoagulation also. Now, what are the special features of the child's eye that makes the glaucoma surgery challenging? Anesthetic risk, small palpebral aperture, the sclera is less rigid and often thin. This is very important. Corneal clouding, distorted anatomical landmarks in an enlarged eye, narrow anterior chamber, post-operative monitoring. Surgical training is very important because specialized glaucoma surgery is done in only select few centers, and surgical training one has to obtain in these centers only. And occasionally, or in many of the patients, they would require subsequent surgeries. Now, what is the initial choice? Initial choice is always the angle surgery. So angle surgery includes either goniotomy or trabeculotomy. Both have their staunch advocates, and neither procedure have been proved better than the other in primary congenital glaucoma. Now, this is a very high success rate. There is almost 70 to 80% success rate in infants presenting with primary congenital glaucoma between 3 to 12 months of age. Angle surgery can also be used in some other forms of surgery, but remember, the first surgery has the best chance for survival. Now, what are the differences between goniotomy and trabeculotomy? Goniotomy avoids a postoperative conjunctival scarring. It's a faster procedure and less trauma, but trabeculotomy can be done even if the cornea is cloudy. And then subsequent choice is either trabeculectomy with mitomycin C or the tube shunt implants or the cyclodestruction. Now, the basic procedure of goniotomy is that the angle is visualized with a surgical gonioscopic lens, and the needle or an appropriate blade is passed across the anterior chamber, and a superficial incision is made in the trabecular meshwork. Now, there is modification of this trabeculotomy by using this Cahuck dual blade, which removes a larger area of the trabecular meshwork and in a more controlled fashion. Now, the basic surgical procedure of trabeculotomy is like trabeculectomy. We create an external flap, then identify the Schlemm's canal, and then introduce the trabeculotome, which can either be rigid or which can be done with the help of a suture, or which can be done with the help of an illuminated microcatheter. And combined trabeculectomy and trabeculotomy, as we have been discussed, is the preferred surgical option in the glaucomas we see here. Trabeculectomy with mitomycin C, similar surgical procedure, just like discussed previously by Dr. Sagar. And then the tube shunt surgery will be discussed subsequently by Dr. Prashant. Cyclodestruction, we know the traditional transscleral cyclophotocoagulation is a procedure that we have been using, but recently the endoscopic cyclophotocoagulation has also been discussed. So I would conclude by showing the two surgical clips. One is the surgical clip of goniotomy and another is a surgical clip of combined trabeculectomy on trabeculotomy. So this is the goniotomy for congenital glaucoma. And as we can see, the procedure starts under GA, and this is the surgical gonio lens that is placed. There are various types of gonio lenses, like the Barkan lens or the Swan-Jacob lens. And now the paracentesis is made in the clear cornea. So the goniotomy can be done either by a blade or by a knife. And the pupil has to be constricted by pilocarpine or acetylcholine. And it's very important to avoid damage to the lens. And the instrument must be parallel to the iris. And it's very important that the surgeon gets a proper view of the angle structure. So here the view of the angle was not optimal. So the head is tilted. The head is rotated away from the surgeon to improve the gonioscopic view. And now the angle structures now become prominent. So the blade entry is done. If the incision is too tight, we have to enlarge the wound, or else the view will not be optimal. The lens is now reinserted and the needle is introduced, or the blade is introduced, and the goniotomy is now done. It is a superficial incision, incising the approximately 1/3 of the trabecular meshwork, the uveal meshwork, and on each side the goniotomy is done. So after a successful goniotomy, the angle depends immediately, and the results of the goniotomy becomes apparent in a few weeks' time. But it's very important to remember that gonioscopy can be performed only if the cornea is clear. And most of the congenital glaucomas that we see in the Indian subcontinent, they present with more advanced glaucomas. So in more advanced glaucomas, the procedure of choice is known as a combined trabeculotomy with trabeculectomy. So this has been popularized by many surgeons, and in India, Dr. Anil Mandal from LV Prasad Eye Institute has been the pioneer in this technique. So the basic surgical procedure is that we will show the video. Okay, so after adequate surgical exposure, which can be done either by a superior rectus forceps or by a clear corneal traction suture, the surgical area is now exposed and the conjunctival incision is done. So this is a fornix-based conjunctival incision, just like we do in an adult trabeculectomy. You can see the corneal haziness and the hub striae. So the conjunctiva was dissected. I do not use mitomycin C in the initial procedure in most cases. Now the conjunctival, the scleral, superficial scleral incision is made. Remember, in a ophthalmic eye, the sclera is stretched and maybe very thin. And if you exert undue pressure, you can go through and through. So the surgical dissection is now made. It should be a triangular scleral flap or a rectangular scleral flap, but it should be in the same plane. And you should proceed slightly into the clear cornea so as to expose the surgical landmarks. And now the most important step to identify where the Schlemm's canal is. So remember, where white meets blue, Schlemm's canal waits for you. So just at the junction of the sclera and the posterior zone of the green limbus, there's a Schlemm's canal. We make a partial thickness radial scratch incision under high magnification and go gradually deep. Do not exert undue pressure. And when you have the adequate plane, the posterior pigmented, the inner wall of the Schlemm's canal shines through, and a drop of aqueous may come out, like you can see a drop of aqueous, or sometimes a drop of blood can come through, and then only you'll identify this is the accurate plane. Now you should be very gentle in introducing the trabeculotome. So this is a rigid Herms trabeculotome. It has two limbs. The superior limb is to direct you that you are going in the right direction, and you should enter it without undue resistance. And now you make a sweeping movement into the anterior chamber, just parallel to the iris. Do not go too superficially, it can cause a decimal detachment. And similar procedure is being done on the other side now. Again, you can see that I'm introducing it very tentatively so as not to go into the false plane. I would like to enter into the plane where there is minimal resistance. If you're in the right plane, there's minimal resistance. You introduce it as much as you can. And then again, sweep it into the anterior chamber, parallel to the iris plane. Okay. And then gradually withdraw it withdraw the trabeculotome. So immediately after successful trabeculotomy, you can see that the cornea has cleared significantly. The central mark is the hub striae that will persist. And now we go ahead with the trabeculectomy part. So we make the trabeculectomy, the deep scleral flap, just like we do in an adult surgery of trabeculectomy with mitomycin C. So we remove the deep scleral block first posteriorly, and then make the 2 side incisions, and then proceed anteriorly. So most of these children are small children, and you require an expert anesthetist for the surgery to be uneventful. So we now excise the deep scleral block. It should not be too small, and it should not be too large also, so that it should not go to one side. This will cause overfiltration. And now the surgical iridectomy has to be done. So with the LIMS forceps, I pull the iris and incise the iris, so that the iridectomy that I perform is wider than the internal ostium. Now the scleral flap has to be sutured. So I apply a single 10-0 nylon suture at the apex. In adult glaucoma surgeries, we usually apply the releasable sutures. But in infant's eye, even if the AC becomes shallow, it tends to form normally. We do not need to reform the anterior chamber. In most of the cases, it will form normally, and removal of the releasable suture becomes a problem in children. So if you apply the single apical suture at the apex, titrating the incision, titrating the tightness, then it suffices in most of the cases. So that is the end of the surgery. The last step is to close the conjunctiva. So you have to remember that the conjunctival incision has to be watertight. So I apply 8-0 vicryl sutures at the 2 ends, wing sutures at the 2 ends. And I also, if needed, supplement it with other vicryl sutures or other 10-0 nylon sutures, so that the cornea, so the conjunctiva is tightly sutured to the cornea, and there is no post-operative leakage. So this is the basic procedure of the combined trabeculectomy with trabeculotomy, which we perform along with an examination under anesthesia. So that is the end of this presentation.